We got Heath Brooks with our friends over at Timberlake and League joining us this morning.
Good morning, Heath. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
So while we're waiting for some phone calls to come in, let's talk a little bit, since it is Valentine's this week. What happens when your Valentine's date goes wrong?
What could go wrong on the day of love?
You know, you go out for a nice dinner, you think everything's going to go perfect, you want everything to go perfect, and then you slip and you fall in the restaurant. And you hurt your arm or maybe you get something to eat and there's something in your food and your food makes you sick or causes an injury. There's a bunch of things that can happen at a restaurant that I've seen over the years that sometimes are pretty scary. So, you know, you got to know what your options are if something like that happens.
Oh, I'm only just trying to imagine some of the things, you know, the scenarios now that we've talked about it.
And you know, these restaurants are crowded anyways, so you have to be very aware of your surroundings. But what do you do if you do slip and fall? If you find yourself in that situation, I mean, do you immediately let them try and smooth things over? What's your advice?
First thing is make sure you're okay. Most restaurants will ask you if you need medical help, and if you need medical help, get it. You know, the next thing you may want to do is try to gather some information. Was it water on the ground? Was it something that caused you to trip? Was the floor uneven? Was a tile messed up? I've had that happen before. You know, one thing that a restaurant's responsibility is they have a responsibility to keep their restaurant in a reasonably safe condition. And they got to warn you hazards they knew about or created or should have known about. So, you know, those are the kinds of things you need to watch out for. These can be very difficult cases. They're called premises liability cases. And so you probably need to contact an attorney if you have a significant injury so that you can, you know, so you can get the help that you need so that you're aware of your legal options. You know, and then let's say if you eat something, and that's a whole different ballgame. A restaurant has a responsibility for their food to be safe to eat. It's got to be safe for human consumption. And that's a products liability claim. And it brings in a whole different bag of tricks that you've got to deal with if you're an attorney trying to recover from someone that has a significant injury after eating something that was bad.
And it's important to take photos, correct?
Right.
It is if you can safely. You know, what I recommend is have somebody with you. I mean, if you're just been injured after a fall, and a lot of times there'll be videos of these falls or things like that, it's important to gather the evidence. Have your friends or family that are with you take photos. You be concerned about your health. If you can have somebody take photos, do it. Other thing is that a lot of times these restaurants will have video of what happened, and these videos are closed circuit, meaning they every 30 minutes or 30 days they roll over each other. So it's important to get a lawyer to write a letter to say, hey, look, preserve that video evidence because somewhere down the road it may be important.
I'm very intrigued by this conversation. I do want to take a break from it though, because we do have Bill on the line with a question for you. Bill, you there?
Yes. My question is, how long does a plaintiff have to answer to a counterclaim from a defendant?
Okay, Bill. Well, if you filed a lawsuit against somebody and then a defendant files a counterclaim against you, you have 30 days once a counterclaim has been served on you to answer it. And then it's important for you to, if you have a lawyer, get a lawyer to answer that counterclaim. But it's the same rule as if you had the initial complaint in a lawsuit. You have 30 days once it is served on you to answer that countercomplaint.
All right. Remember, you can always give us a call, 256, and we got the number there on the bottom of your screen, 256-536-0077. Let's go ahead and answer the phone line for John. John, go ahead with your question.
Yes, I have, like I said, I had an eye problem. I had the cataract surgery, and the doctor that I used, I told him my reading abilities were perfect. I could read the smallest print on any over-the-counter medicine or anything. And if that, you know, is that going to bother my reading ability? And he said, no, it'll be fine. Then after they done my surgery a year ago, they started telling me that I'd have to wait for my eyes to heal. Well, I think over a year should be enough for that eye to heal, or both eyes, and I can't get nobody to do anything. I've been to Callahan's Eye Foundation at the university, and they've checked my eyes twice, and they say they can't help me. Okay. And I've been to several other, you know, supposedly top-notch eye doctors, and like Drake and Hartsville and different places, and and nobody can help me at all. And now my long range vision and my short range vision is gone, and I continuously have shooting pains in my eyes. Like somebody stabbing me.
Well,
and
yeah, it sounds like you have an issue with the surgery. A lot of times those eye surgeries, they can go bad. You can have bad consequences. And if your doctor said, that everything was going to be okay, most of the time that does occur. You could potentially have a medical malpractice claim, and that's something that you really need to talk to a lawyer about to see if you've got one. My advice to you is gather your medical records from all of the providers that you've seen, because that's what a lawyer is going to need to use to evaluate your particular potential claim. And then, we can find out whether the doctor breached the standard of care or treated you in a way that no other doctor in the country would have treated you with your same symptomology.
And with that, of course, we know some folks did not get their legal questions answered during this segment. But you can always reach out to our friends over at Timberlake and League and ask them directly, or call us every Monday here on WAAY 31 Midday News for our Law Call segment. Also, of course, we do want to thank you, Heath, for being with us today.
Thank you.